Hi, this is Matt Yetter with Sherlock Home Inspections. Phone number is 971-212-7481. Website address is yourinspectionneeds.com. Today's date is Tuesday, June 23rd, 2020. The address we're inspecting today is 4610 Southwest Pendleton Street, Portland, Oregon, 97221. We are about to perform a video inspection of the property's main sewer line through the basement cleanout. The equipment being used today is the ViewTech self-leveling HD color video inspection camera. This is one of the best cameras on the market today. Before we begin this video inspection, it should be noted that some age sewer pipes made out of clay, concrete, cast iron, asbestos, and Orangeburg may be in good working order and may never have had a clogged or sewer backup before. However, due to real estate transactions, attorneys, and lawsuits, Sherlock Home Inspections must recommend the following to meet the current codes. All sewer pipes should be watertight, made out of cast iron, ABS 3034 or HDPE pipe with all appropriate fittings and couplers. All sewer pipes should be free from breaks, offsets, separations, tree roots, bellies, and party sewers. Sherlock Home Inspections recommends replacing any sewer pipe that does not meet these specifications. Here we go. We are in a 4-inch cast iron pipe. We're running some water from the laundry room sink to ensure that our pipe is watertight and is going to remain watertight throughout this inspection. A little bit of an offset in the pipe there, but it looks like it's kind of offset in a manner that actually keeps waste and debris flowing downhill there. We're losing the pitch here though. Up until this point we've had a pretty strong downhill flow to the water, meaning we get to have gravity work with us, pushing waste strongly away from the house. And so through this section we're pretty flat. It does look like it's improving there, and the camera head was never actually submerged, but definitely an area of marginal pitch there. Go back and look at it one more time, and we'll look at it again with the water off on the pullback to see kind of what happens in that area. Up until that point we've had a pretty strong, so this is kind of the flow that we're looking for throughout the length of everything. Again, so at about 34 feet we start to go flat. Like I said, the camera head is never submerged in water, but just flat through this area. You know, things are still draining through. The good news is there's no buildup, you know, so it looks like things are still draining through here, but just slower than other areas that we've seen. So marginal pitch for sure through this area, but again doesn't appear to be causing any problems, but it is metal piping and we would like things moving through here as quickly as possible. And then it turns, and then we get back to that nice pitch. So a little bit of marginal pitch through there, or you know, really about 5 feet, I guess. Looks like we transitioned pipe materials there. Somewhere in the midst of that, looks like we went to a clay tile piping. So also at that offset, we transitioned from cast iron into terracotta clay tile. Now clay tile piping is an outdated or obsolete system, and then of course, yeah, so we're not in the metal piping here, we're in the terracotta clay tile piping. So marginal pitch through here, and like I was saying, terracotta clay tile is a soft pipe. It's no longer used in sewer piping and hasn't been for a number of years. So kind of considered an outdated or an obsolete system. So far it's not showing any issues except for just that marginal pitch. Looks like there could be some shrinkage cracks in the top of the pipe. So it's definitely showing its age. And like I said, it's a piping that's just no longer used. We're losing that pitch again here. So we're flat in a couple areas. This one is right on the verge of being a belly. Another 5 feet or so. So right at it, like an exterior clean out, it looks like. So again, the camera head never actually goes underwater, but that is about as close to underwater as you can get without submerging the camera and head and the lens. So at about 48 feet, and then we start to pull out of it again. So maybe 3 or 4 feet on that area of marginal pitch. I guess we're transitioning to concrete piping there. So cast iron into clay, into concrete. We're going to drop down into the concrete pipe here. And there you can see some deterioration in this pipe. We're seeing some really pretty scraggly, almost like a grass root, but a little bit of roots in the piping there. You can see at the joint in the pipe, you can see I'm counting like 2 or 3 scraggly roots coming in there. Pretty minor, ineffectual little guys, but it still is some root penetration. And then there's an offset in the pipe there, so you can see that's kind of why the toilet paper is sticking in this area. So the pipe is offset and kind of just drop down, and it wants to catch the camera head there too. And then we're going to turn, and that's right at the city lateral there. So at about 73 feet, there's the city lateral. All right, so several things, not that the pipe is having any issues, but there's several things going on here in that we have an older terracotta clay tile pipe for a number or a large portion of the pipe. And like I mentioned, it's an outdated or an obsolete system. It's no longer being used as drain waste piping. There was the first area was about 5 foot, and it never actually bellied out, but just kind of marginal, so just flat. It did, after 5 feet, it did pick up, improve, and then we were draining again after that. But yeah, like I said, the camera had never actually went underwater. Then there was a second area, again in the terracotta clay tile piping, that was a little bit flat also, and that was more like 3 or 4 feet of just kind of flat piping. And then we transitioned to concrete, and I want to actually look at that area again, because it was just right before the lateral. But out there right before the lateral, which may be city responsibility or whatever, there was some root penetration there. Very minor, so very scraggly, little ineffectual guys, but certainly you can see that there is some, looks like maybe even like grass roots. So some real scraggly, tiny little roots had made their way in. So the roots will surround the pipe, and they're looking for a soft spot or a weakened area into the pipe. And once they find that, then they'll penetrate the pipe, and then they thrive in this environment. So kind of a lot of different things going on. Older piping, outdated or obsolete materials, no water bellies, but just flat for 5 feet and then flat for 3 feet. Just kind of marginal pitch. And then we're gonna look at that with the water off to see what happens, how those react with the water off. If everything drains out of there, then you're feeling better. But I guess even though the root penetration was minor and ineffectual, still nonetheless it is root penetration, and would warrant further evaluation and possible repair or replacement by a licensed and qualified drain professional. So we would recommend passing the video and the report on to a drain repair technician to deem any necessary repairs in the area, see if he wants to do repairs or replacement or whatever he sort of thinks. Again, very, very minor. You take a snapshot of the property currently today, the pipe is not having any issues, but there's at least the potential for that in the future. And then, of course, like I said, you have some old sewer piping materials used in this pipe that are just no longer being used. So we need to make a correction here. I was wrong. I think with the debris in the piping here, it made it kind of look like, and I was that in combination with the age of this house, we were thinking, and when we know the history of the neighborhood also, we were thinking kind of a terracotta clay tile, but we are wrong, and it looks like there is actually even good news in this piping. So we started in cast iron, and this is ABS plastic, but it's coated with sewer stuff, and it's made to look kind of like an orange or like a terracotta clay tile. So we wanted to make a correction that, you know, there's a bit of good news that a large portion of this pipe has been improved or updated into plastic piping. So a little bit of marginal pitch in the plastic piping is still a concern, but not nearly as much of a concern as if it were marginal pitch in a clay pipe or a concrete pipe. And then when we turn off the water, some of it did drain out. But yeah, we just wanted to correct that. So really, for the most part, things are looking okay. And then I guess the biggest concern, and it's still very, very minor, is that, and so here we go from cast iron into ABS plastic and not terracotta. So again, with the debris buildup, it kind of looks like a clay tile right there, but you can see what's kind of scraped off the bottom is it's plastic piping. So that's good news. Still have some marginal pitch through there. Never goes underwater. Never actually goes underwater, but definitely marginal pitch that, you know, we would highly recommend having a sewer scope performed every 2 to 3 years, keeping an eye on that area. If things ever worsened, then of course some repair could be required, and then we go marginal there too. So they didn't put a real strong pitch coming out of this basement, and it's tricky. And then it picks back on up, and then we go to concrete there. And so the last portion is concrete right before the lateral. We're seeing deterioration. We know that there is a little bit of root intrusion right in there, and then we go into the lateral right on the other side of this. So that may all be city responsibility there. So again, we wanted to make some correction there. So that is, I would say, good news with this sewer pipe. Alright, I'm going to turn the microphone back off.